Welcome to another edition of 822 News for Monday, May 2nd, 2021. I'm Julian Cruz. This news streaming service is geared to keep you informed of developing and interesting news stories affecting the Belizean society. 822 News has been created to offer an outlet and invite individuals to share newsworthy issues which impacts us all as a people. Now your news. Labor Day was observed on Saturday, May 1st. It was a day that recognizes the contributions made by workers within a productive and industrial society and highlights the struggles and endemic exploitation they face. This Labor Day sets the stage for the intensified strike action being implemented by the union bodies in Belize, the BNTU, the PSU, and the Association of Public Sector Senior Managers, the APSSM. Considering the current climate between the unions and the government, things will be heating up substantially. PSU President Gerald Henry offered some thoughts in his Labor Day message.
Labor Day honors the hard work of people across the world and celebrates their achievements. Labor Day has its origins in the labor union movement in the United States in the 19th century. Therefore, if it were not for labor unions, we would not have a Labor Day to celebrate. Today, I acknowledge in particular the contributions of all public officers who provide, as a matter of duty, the public services that our citizens pay their taxes to receive. Today, as hard as it may be for us to do due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we celebrate Labor Day. It is far more difficult for us to truly appreciate the only one day in the year that has been set aside to mark appreciation to all workers across the country because of the man-made disaster that has crippled countries across the world. It is worse than any pandemic. It is the global plague of corruption that seems to particularly afflict the leaders of all countries. They in turn infect others in the society on close contact. Similar to Belize's need to achieve herd immunity against the COVID-19 virus by way of vaccinations, Belize and other countries need to achieve herd immunity against corruption by injecting good governance legislations into the laws of the country. This is what the current joint union team of the Public Service Union of Belize, the Belize National Teachers Union, and the Association of Public Sector Senior Managers, with full support of the National Trade Union Congress of Belize, are fighting for against the government. Under Chapter 2, Articles 5 to 14 of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, UNCAC recognizes the importance of the prevention of corruption in both public and private sectors. Countries that sign the convention must ensure that their public services are subject to safeguards that promote efficiency, transparency, and recruitment based on merit. Additionally, transparency and accountability in the management of public finances must also be promoted, and specific requirements established for the prevention of corruption, particularly in the critical areas of the public sector, such as judiciary and public procurement. Preventing corruption also requires an effort from all members of society at large. For these reasons, UNCAC calls on countries to actively promote the involvement of civil society to raise public awareness on corruption and what can be done about it. The requirements made for the public sector also apply to the private sector. It too is expected to adopt transparent procedures and codes of conduct.
He made note of the importance of the enactment of policies and legislation to combat corruption, referencing Chapter 2, Articles 5 to 14 of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, otherwise known as UNCAC. It underscores the need for public service safeguards, efficiency, transparency, accountability, also transparency in public management finances, specific requirements established to prevent corruption in the judiciary and public procurement, as well as the essential involvement of civil society. This requires introduction of transparent private sector procedures and codes of conduct, along with a real demand for good governance. The PSU calls on the populace for its support of the union's action to achieve this goal. Sadly, there is no available current data on the World Corruption Index for Belize, which effectively means we have no way of knowing our government's performance on the Global Comparative Index. We don't have a way of gauging honest and transparent business practices, to what degree workers are being exploited, and how much these decisions are impacting the purchasing capacity of the population. Except that, as we all know, $100 does not buy what it used to. So as the trade unions picket and protest GOB, we can't even assess the medium to long-term impact such action will have on the overall performance of our government. Without a report card to judge the results of past activities and financial decisions, how can we know if they are doing what or when they will do better? Only time will tell, hopefully not too far in the future. Now let's take a look at the COVID-19 pandemic. Belize to date has been doing pretty well. 17,641 tests done, 12,666 positive cases confirmed, 12,218 recovered, 116 active cases, and 323 deaths. GOB has issued a clarion call for Belizeans to get vaccinated. The Ministry of Health and Wellness as well launched a COVID-19 vaccination registration and scheduling app. The latest figures showed that about 41,200 persons have been vaccinated so far. We are holding up pretty well as citizens line up to get vaccinated. Now consider for the moment the scenario in India, where within the span of a week, which was all of last week, over 300,000 people were being infected daily. Over the weekend, just in one day alone, 400,000 were infected. The daily death toll is more than 3,200 and in some cases over 3,600. The cumulative death toll exceeds 222,000 in this new wave of the virus attack. There are no hospital beds or even enough hospitals to deal with this viral carnage. Pyres are being set up in parks and open fields to cremate the bodies in an effort to prevent a new kind of biological infection. India is at a critical stage in its fight against COVID-19. Let's pray for them as their situation intensifies, that there will be some relief on the strained human resource and the overwhelmed healthcare system. Folks, right next to Guatemala, hospitals have reached maximum capacity and the healthcare system is also in danger of collapse. As of today, May 3, 2021, there are 154,025,000 confirmed cases, more than 3,223,000 deaths, and approximately 970 million vaccine doses injected worldwide. We'll go for a break and be right back with more news. This is E22 News. For many, it's a constant irritation having to wear face masks wherever they go. Health and Wellness Minister Michelle Shebat was asked how long Belizeans will need to wear face masks. Health Minister Shebat says, and we quote, "It is important to keep reminding the public of the public health measures that we have put in place. I know it's been 13 months and I know that the public is growing fatigued, but this is to save your life and it is to save the life of your loved ones. So please continue wearing your masks, wash your hands, social distance. In addition, if you have not yet been vaccinated, it will save your life. Minister Shebad Farideh elaborated that the masks will be with us for the foreseeable future, and it would be done away with only until herd immunity has been achieved. And as he stated, that needs to be 70% of the adult population. So when will we achieve herd immunity? According to the minister, that should be by the end of this year. So peeps, we will continue to mask up and breathing our own carbon dioxide for a while longer. Last week on Friday 30th, 19-year-old Michael Welch was shot and wounded. He was standing on a street corner in Belize City when two men approached him from the direction of Berkeley Street and fired several shots at him. Welch was hit in the foot and was subsequently rushed to the HMH for treatment. Later on that same Friday night, police responded to gunshots on George Street. There, they found 49-year-old Brian Lee Sr., who stated that he had heard gunshots on the street, and when he went outside to check, he saw his 20-year-old son, Brian Neal Jr., running down the street, shouting that he had been shot. Neal Jr. was taken to the hospital where he was treated for a shot that he had received in his buttocks. Reports are that a shooter had crept up behind him from inside his yard and inflicted a gunshot wound. Police are investigating. He has served as the Governor General of Belize since 1993, and on Friday, April 30, 2021, 28 years later, Sir Colville Young exited that prestigious office. He had served as Belize's head of state for most of our nation's 40 years of independence. A formal sermon was held at the House of Culture in Belize City, where he paid his final farewell. Sir Colville Young has the distinction of being one of the longest-serving head of states within the Commonwealth and has served with 4 Prime Ministers of Belize. Sir Colville Young is 88 years old at the time of his departure from office. We wish him all the best in the days and years ahead as he transitions to his next stage of life. In the interim, Cabinet Secretary Stuart Leslie will be the acting Governor General. It is anticipated that by the end of May 2021, Froila Zalam will assume this post. Her appointment awaits the Royal Commission approval from Buckingham Palace in England. Once appointed, she will become Belize's new and 3rd Governor General. We'll now take a look at the weather forecast. As we strive to develop more content and inform our viewership on matters of local and national importance, we once again invite you to offer any information that could be important for public dissemination. For any contributions, comments, concerns, please remember A22 News can be reached through macstudiobelize@gmail.com or cell number 635-1240. Stand up and speak truth, please. Until next time, goodbye.